What is going on, everyone? I want to welcome you back to another episode of South Bay Sports Radio. On this episode, I'm sitting down with Malcolm Manuel, who recently took the head coaching position at his alma mater, Beach Cabrillo High. Malcolm describes the difference between moving from Southern California to Bozeman, Montana, and what got him into coaching. We also talk about his short-term goals while at Narbonne these last few years, what he'll remember most, and what he's excited for as he heads back to Cabrillo High. Let's hear more from Malcolm about his story and football. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and thank you for joining me, Malcolm.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's begin. I want to hear about how you fell in love with the great game of football.
It's been something that's been a part of me since I was young. My uncles played, like in the 80s or 70s and stuff like that. And when I was born in the early 90s. I just remember being young, about 5 or 6, always seeing, their pictures and stuff like that. And my mom always telling me about how they play football and stuff. My brother was the first one to actually, take off with it. And because I was a baseball guy, and when I saw how much fun he had with it, I just, I couldn't stop exploring it. So I started enjoying it probably around like 9 or 10. So
you attend Cabrillo High in Long Beach. What would best describe your prep career as a student athlete?
I think my prep career personally, I think I had a pretty good couple years there. My junior year was really good. My senior year was decent for a DB, but my junior year was really good. And just the experience alone, being able to play on that stage, on the varsity stage, and actually be able to contribute to a team in a team atmosphere and environment. It was fun. It was I made endless memories and friends forever. So it's something that I'll cherish for as long as I can.
You go on to play at Golden West College before moving on to Montana State Northern. How much of a culture shock was it going from Southern California to Bozeman? And talk to me about your time while you were in Montana.
Well, first of all, culture shock was very real. I think the first thing that I noticed about Montana was and it wasn't the weather. It was just how open it was. It was so different. It wasn't much of a city atmosphere where I was. You're driving down a road for probably about 2 hours from town to town, and you look to your right and left, you see cows and you see horses and all of that good stuff. So, it was a culture shock for sure with the weather, but I think the first thing that I really realized was just how much different, atmosphere-wise it was. And my time there was great. I think that just being in that different environment and that different atmosphere actually kind of formed me into who I am today, what I wanted to do as far as my career goes, and as coach. I got an opportunity to live in a place where at one time it was 104 degrees, and then 5 weeks later it was 15. So it was very, very interesting, but to say the least, I'm super thankful of my time there. I'm super thankful of being able to graduate and come back here and have all of my limbs functional and that good stuff. So I think it was something that I needed to do, and back in the time when I decided to do it, I wasn't very sure of it, but I'm very sure of it now. I'm super thankful for it.
You began coaching at your collegiate alma mater in 2016. What went into that decision, and how tough was it at the beginning?
Yeah, well, one of my mentors who was my coach, Coach Jake Eldridge, he presented the opportunity when I was done playing. I had a really bad injury in my ankle, and it was something that I didn't see myself wanting to repair, just because I knew how grueling the rehab would be and stuff like that. So, he talked me into coaching, and he said he needed a little bit of help with the DBs to oversee and stuff like that. So in the spring, I started with the DBs, and then in the summer, I made a transition to the running backs. And that was new because I've never played running back before. It wasn't a position that I was very familiar with. But my brother My brother played running back at Cal, at UC Berkeley, so I picked his brain a lot. And once I actually got all 10 toes down into coaching, it was something that I knew that year that I wanted to do for a living. And just being able to touch the lives of others, whether it be 25-year-old or whether it be 18-year-old at that level, it was something that was very, very good for me at that age. And yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for him, actually, offering me the opportunity to help, I don't think that I probably would have jumped into it that soon. So
You return to the area and take the Narbonne job in 2020 after the program had been through some interesting times. What were your goals heading into that job?
I started with short-term goals. My short-term goal was um to field a two-level program. Um and we failed at that my first season, but we were able to do that the second year. And then after that, after we completed that goal, my goal was to compete for a championship. And we ended up doing that. I think I want to say my second year. We went to the Division I semifinals in Los Palisades. And then after that, my goal was to compete for Open Division Championship. And these last 2 years, we have actually been an Open Division team and winning the championship this year. I knew what the program how it was when I got there. And I wanted to make sure that the goals were realistic. And I didn't want to set goals that were too crazy because I felt like it was in a fragile state. So setting some realistic goals would have given us an opportunity to have kids actually believe in what we were doing and coaches believe in what we're doing. And, it wasn't anything too far-fetched. So I think it actually worked out pretty perfectly. It gave us a good timeline of where we wanted to be and when we wanted to be there. But my initial goal was to field that, was to have a varsity and a JV. And like I said, it took us a year. We played that first year and we were Owen, and then we went Division III. I don't know how. I didn't ask for it. So, but we went Division III, and we played to the semifinals and lost against Taft. And I think that year kind of showed a lot of the kids though that we can actually be something because we didn't lose any kids from that team. Everybody returned the next year because we were so young. And yeah, I mean, so we started with short-term goals, but I think we were ahead of schedule just based off of experience.
You named a couple of your mentors, including Joe Aguirre, Kelvin Moore, and your mother, Angel Manuel.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned from them, and how have those things helped you over the years?
Yeah, well, I think something that all three of them have in common is to get things done, right away. And, they're some of the most, influential people in my life because I've been able to talk to them. Obviously I've been able to talk to my mom my entire life. But when it comes to Joe and Kelvin, they're just so straightforward when it comes to their approach, and they've been around coaching for so long that I feel like I've gravitated towards them because of just everything, their philosophies and how they go about running a team or communicating and things like that. So I think that what I've learned from them is really to just make sure that everything that we do, we're gonna do it at 100 miles an hour. We're gonna be successful at it, and we're gonna instill that into our kids because if we make sure that they're on point and they're doing the stuff that we need them to do, then we can do that as a coaching staff and just as people in general. So um like I said, they've been able to help me out a lot, since I've been here. I've been close with Joe since I've been here. I've been close to Kelvin for a couple of years, and it's just just the way that they approach things, is very similar to how my mom is. She's a no nonsense person. She's a straightforward person. She's a go getter. She's a hustler, and it's kind of the same thing with those gentlemen, and it's something that I pride myself on trying to be. That's how I want to be moving forward, and I think that I've picked it up for the last couple of years since I got here. So yeah, I mean those people are as solid as it comes.
Talent has never been a question at city section schools. Talk about the kind of talent you had those first few years and how some of those players, like Mark Hennichor, blossomed into some of the players into the kind of players that they've become.
Since I've been here, we've had some of the most talented kids that I've seen, and that was every year. The first year that I was here, we had a couple kids that were really good, and some of them were at junior colleges, some of them were at Division I, Division II. And then the second year, same thing, really good kids, third year, really good kids. And, you get a kid like Mark, who I got Mark my second year here, and he was so fresh and green to it because he hadn't really played organized football. He was more of a basketball player. And you get kids like that and they buy into the program and they buy into the opportunity that they have to really be successful. And he did just that. He was a kid who I think that talent wise, he was all there from the beginning. He was just he was a freakish athlete. He could jump out the gym. He could run faster than most. He could squat a house, and he can do he could just do things that you didn't see at that level for his age. So talent wise, he was all there. We had to teach him the X's and O's, and which he learned really fast. But the thing that I've noticed about about Narbonne is that we're in a central location that allows us to attract different area kids, and it gives us an opportunity to really show them structure. We had some kids that they were bused, they were into be into our magnet program. They were coming from Prince Shaw area or Locke area, stuff like that, and it gave them an opportunity to really be in, like I said, a central location where the structure is a little bit different. It's a little quieter, and it gives them a different environment. So I think that the kids that we've had here, Elijah Brown, Ernest Nunn, we've had some really good kids that weren't necessarily, I guess, Harbor City kids or Torrance kids. But the thing that, because I see it a lot all the time, and the thing that I feel about that is that, we as coaches, we take an oath to, coach and prepare and develop no matter what. And, for some of those kids, I feel like they made a really, really, really great decision on, joining the magnet program and being here and having to get up early just to get onto the bus, because it prepares them for life in a way that I don't think that they would have gotten prepared for if they were going to school down the street, where they could just sleep in and wear house shoes to school. So that's why I think parents are very attracted to the idea and are very open to kids coming to Narbonne, because it gives them that structure, especially with that program. That program is really good. It gives them the structure and it gives them the opportunity to put their kids in a better situation.
We're going to go back to that 2024 season, and I asked you to name a memorable game, and you gave me a fourth quarter Gaucho comeback against Cathedral. Take me back to that game and your emotions during that game and what you're telling your team during each huddle, during each timeout, during each quarter pause.
Well, the thing is, the game never got away from us, and it was always kind of in reach, and I think they ended up going up by maybe 8 or 9 going into the fourth quarter. I just remember Jaden O'Neal dropping back. He throws a back shoulder touchdown to Xavier Owens, who was in the slot. Xavier made a really nice catch. He was kind of turning away. He caught that ball. We closed the lead to about 3 points or so. And I remember just thinking to myself, we're going to win this game, because we had all the momentum. Our kids started to believe a lot more throughout the game. And just throughout the huddles, every time they came over and we had conversations, they're giving us live feedback. They're saying, like, Jaden O'Neal, he's saying, hey, the defensive end is he's crashing, but he's playing both of us, and I think that I can maneuver my way by him, because he's coming down too hard, he's coming upfield shoulder. And to me, it was great seeing that as a coach, because it put me in a position to kind of just sit back and I'm just listening to our kids tell us what they're seeing out there. And it showed me that we were teaching them the right things. We were teaching them the right things in the meeting rooms on how to read coverages and how to read defenders and body language and stuff like that. So when Jaden ran his own read, and Jaden pulled it, and the DN kind of stayed in his face, and he made a move, or he spun out of it. He did something that wasn't normal as far as the reads go and his steps, but he took it down and he spun out of it, and he was able to score a touchdown, and that was it. Ended up being the deciding factor for us. It was something that we studied all game. It was something that he kind of put into play all game, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And for me as a coach, it was something that made me smile because they paid so much attention and they put so much into winning that game because they knew that, Cathedral was undefeated. Cathedral was a very good team. They were very athletic. And so they wanted it even more. And I think we were kind of rolling. I think we won a game before that too. So, I mean, that's probably my favorite memory of this season, honestly, other than winning the championship, because it just showed that we prepared our boys the way that we should have.
After the season, you step away from Narbonne. Despite everything going on, what are some things that you've learned about yourself and the game of football these last few years?
Well, I've learned that this position, is where I'm meant to be overall as a coach, as somebody who was a leader of men and a developer of talent and wisdom. It's given me an opportunity to see things at a very different slate. On to prepare kids and how kids prepare and, how parents want to see things and running programs and stuff like that. So, my time here has given me a really, really good insight on, how I want to run my programs moving forward, wherever I'm at. And, I've been very fortunate to have a good group of kids here at Narbonne. I'm in a good group of parents. The support of my staff. We did really good things. And, it's just giving me a chance to really just enjoy the game of football, these last couple of years, just enjoy it and never take it for granted. Always understand that there's more that you can do, but sometimes less is more. And sometimes you don't need to do those things. And, it's just, yeah, it's just one of those things to where I'm super, super, super thankful for my time here. Like I said, we had a good run, did it with good people, and our kids at the end of the day, they'll be able to order their rings in a couple weeks, and that's something that they'll have for life. So I think we did a good job.
You've taken on the head coaching role at Cabrillo. What are some of your short-term goals there, and how excited are you to get to work?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be competitive, and that's the short-term goal. Short-term goal is to be competitive and um to be competitive and to field as many teams as possible. I think I'm talking about freshmen, I'm talking JV and varsity, because I think that we have an actual really good opportunity of doing so. But I mean, I think the biggest one is just to be competitive. Is just to be competitive in everything that we do. Whether it be being on the field, being in the classroom, competing with each other, weight room, just be competitive. You got to teach that competitive edge and competitive spirit and competitive energy. Um, and that's how you instill it in your kids, and it's something that they take with them throughout the program. We'll show up to study hall. We'll be on time. We'll do things that we're supposed to do. We'll do things the right way, and I'm excited because it's a place that I was literally. I tell the kids all the time. I was there 15 years ago. And it sounds like a long time. When I think about it, I remember almost everything. From my junior and senior year of high school, because it changed me to who I am today, the man I am, the father I am. It gave me an opportunity to really, really, just embrace life and understand it and enjoy it. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be back there. I'm super excited to be back to a place where I call home, and I can't wait to get to work. It's one of those things where it's bittersweet leaving here because we did build something really special, but it's another thing that it's like, you're going to a place that you're going to a place that you've enjoyed for so long, and a place that's giving you lifelong friends and memories, and that's just something that I couldn't turn away from. So I'm happy, I'm excited, and I'm ready to go.
Thank you very much for that. That will wrap up the serious part of our interview, and we're going to transition into rapid fire.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Favorite all-time NFL players?
Players.
Players.
Okay. Deion Sanders, Terrell Owens, Mike Vick. I'm a Philly fan. Like LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, Ray Lewis is up there. Pat Surtain Jr., Odell Beckham, who else? Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. Oof. Mm, mm, that's good. That's a good list. That's a good list.
It's a great list. One NFL franchise has to go.
Dallas Cowboys. Adios.
Adios. You called yourself a baseball guy earlier. Who's your favorite baseball players?
Players, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa. I was a really big Mark McGwire fan back in the day. Darren Erstad. Who else? Mike Piazza, Randy Johnson, Derek Jeter, and Judge. I love Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani.
Movie is being made about your life. Who
Mm.
plays you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Who plays me? I like the seriousness of Michael B. Jordan. I'll stick with that one for now. I think Mike B.
Your favorite South Bay eateries and your go-to dish there.
That's a good one. South Bay eateries. Mm. Well, there's an In-N-Out that's near my mom's house in Carson by the 91 freeway. I don't know what it is about that In-N-Out, but it's my favorite In-N-Out. Every time I drive by, I have to stop there. I'm a guy who likes to I go in between like a double combo and a 3x3. I tried a 4x4 once and I made myself sick. So it was a double and a 3x3 that were the two choices for me. And animal style fries, and this was the one by the 91 in Carson. So I want to say off Central. So that's my favorite South Bay spot.
That'll work. Coach, thank you for joining me very much. I appreciate your time and all the best to you in your future.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Have a good one.